Welcome back to the channel. My name is Gordon Frayne, and today we're back to talk about KASPA and whether it's going to be a layer 1 winner this cycle. As always, if you enjoy the content, please make sure to smash that thumbs up button below, hit that subscribe button as well, and if you want to get notified about similar videos, make sure to smash that bell notification icon. We're dropping videos every day on the channel, so you're going to want to get notified. And don't forget to grab your free copy of The Rise of Bitcoin. It's going to be linked in the description below. It is my gift to you. Grab it while it's free, and let's get into the video. So, KASPA has been garnering a lot of hype this bull cycle as one of the leading layer 1 protocols. We've done a few other videos about KASPA on the channel. You should definitely check them out. We did a deep dive into the technical side of KASPA. We did a KASPA price prediction video, and more recently we also dropped a video all about KASPA mining. But at a fundamental level, KASPA is a layer 1 blockchain solution that is aiming to compete with other leading layer 1s, just like Bitcoin, like Solana, and like some of the newer layer 1s like Near Protocol and Sui, for example. So KASPA employs a proof of work consensus mechanism, which is the same consensus mechanism that Bitcoin itself uses. However, KASPA also employs a DAG architecture, or directed acyclic graph architecture, rather than a simple blockchain linear system. So it's kind of combining this proof of work consensus mechanism with its directed acyclic graph technology to kind of create what they're basically deeming a better version of Bitcoin. They also claim to be solving the blockchain trilemma problem of security, scalability, and decentralization. Again, we know that layer 1 blockchains always run into this trilemma where you can only have, or basically satisfy, two of the vectors on this graph. There's always going to be a trade-off with one of them. That is the idea of the blockchain trilemma. And in Bitcoin's case, the argument is basically that Bitcoin is sufficiently decentralized and secure, but there is therefore a trade-off in terms of scalability. We know that we only have one block every 10 minutes or so, and therefore, some people argue that we may not be able to have a truly scalable version of Bitcoin unless we use layer 2 scaling solutions like the Lightning Network, etc. So KASPA is basically claiming to be solving this blockchain trilemma. And in theory, they're stating that KASPA can satisfy all three vectors of the blockchain trilemma problem and is solving for decentralization, scalability, and security all in one. So you can check out the deeper dive that we did on that and the fundamentals in the technical deep dive video that we did on KASPA. But we're going to talk about today just a little bit about, whether KASPA can really be the winner in terms of layer 1s during this cycle. And again, the fact that they're claiming to solve the blockchain trilemma bodes very well for them. We have seen increasing adoption with KASPA over the past 12 months, and the price action has actually reflected that a lot as well. KASPA's emission schedule is very similar to Bitcoin's in that it actually has an emissions schedule where the reward gets cut by about 5% every single month, month over month, and it therefore incentivizes the miners to continue mining in terms of securing the network. But it's different from Bitcoin in that Bitcoin's halving event only occurs once every 4 years and creates a supply shock where the Bitcoin reward gets cut in half every single 4 years. KASPA's emission schedule does that in a more linear fashion where 5% there's a 5% reduction each month, month over month, which means we will eventually have all of KASPA in circulation, all the KASPA tokens in circulation, I believe by the year 2039, so about 15 years from now. And the idea being that we would need to essentially see a continuous increase in the price of the KASPA token, because as that emissions schedule continues to decrease by 5% month over month, the miners will need transaction earnings in order to continue to incentivize them to secure the network. So we understand how that plays out for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin will not be fully mined until the year 2149. But KASPA is going to play out over a shorter time horizon, and it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. We also spoke about how KASPA is another cryptocurrency that actually follows this power law. So it is the only cryptocurrency outside of Bitcoin that appears to adhere to a power law phenomenon. Again, we've done other videos about power laws on the channel. You can check those out. It's a naturally occurring phenomena in the world, whether it's in nature or with the way that cities tend to grow. But outside of Bitcoin, KASPA is the only other crypto that follows this power law since its inception. And as we were mentioning a moment ago, if we just bring up CoinMarketCap and look at the price of KASPA today, we're currently sitting at about 16.6 cents for KASPA. And we've seen a very nice, healthy, I would say, steady growth for the price of KASPA over the course of the past 12 months. We're looking at the 1 year chart here, so data going back to this time last year. But we have seen a nice steady increase in the price of KASPA. Bit of a jump here from the kind of 3 to 4 cent level up to the 9-10 cents level. And then we've kind of been slowly increasing, putting in higher highs every few months for the price of KASPA. And we did peak out at a 20 cents price, getting up to 20.5 cents here just about a week or so ago here on the 1st of August 2024. We did see new all-time highs for KASPA before this most recent Bitcoin and market pullback that we saw last week with the Japanese yen carry trade unwind, and all of the markets got affected by that. But if we zoom out and look at the macro picture here, it's a very steady, healthy growth for the price of KASPA, putting in new higher highs over the course of the past year so far. And zooming out even further, going back all the way here to July 2022, we've seen that very steady linear growth all throughout KASPA's price history. Again, jumping over to the trading view chart here, we can see the same sentiment echoed in the trading view chart. The other thing that I wanted to mention was the fact that we've seen other big mining companies like Marathon, one of the biggest mining companies in the world, recently announced that they have also been mining KASPA since September of 2023. So we're coming up on almost a year that they've been mining KASPA. They did only announce this back in May, in May or June of this year, but they announced that they had been mining KASPA tokens since September of 2023. And on this chart, you can just see how much of an increase in price that we've had with KASPA since that time period. I do think the CEO mentioned they were mining KASPA and then selling KASPA to actually buy more Bitcoin. However, if they've been holding at least some of this KASPA, it was a very wise decision for them to begin mining it, because if we look at the price action from September of 2023 to the current prices today, that is a 400, plus 400% increase in price for KASPA since September 2023 to the present day prices. So a very good strategic decision by Marathon to start mining KASPA. And just coming back to this whole concept of KASPA being a leading layer 1 protocol, the onset of the KRC20 tokens is something that we've been seeing roll out over the past few weeks. And again, we saw this with other layer 1s in the previous cycle, like Solana, where with the launch of Solana's smart contracts, it basically opened up the entire ecosystem to ride on the coattails of the entire NFT narrative in the 2020-2021 cycle. And we saw a huge increase in price for Solana because of the fact that it came in as an alternative to Ethereum for being this truly scalable blockchain at a much more cost-efficient scale. So we saw Ethereum gas fees going through the roof when we saw all of the NFT hype during the previous cycle 3.5 years ago. And Solana came in and basically grabbed a huge chunk of the market share from Ethereum during that period because it was more scalable and it was more cost efficient for people to mint smart contract tokens and also create NFTs on Solana, and doing that in a much more cost effective way, less gas fees, and doing it in a way that was much more scalable. So Solana was able to grab a huge amount of the market share from Ethereum during the previous cycle. And if we take a look at the Solana chart from that time period, going back to 2020 and 2021, we can see that Solana was down at prices all the way at $1.31 here in December of 2020. And as soon as we hit into the new year in 2021, remembering 2020 was the year when we had the previous Bitcoin halving, or not the most recent, but the one prior to the most recent one, we saw Solana get all the way down to this $1.25 level in December of 2020 before we saw this big parabolic move to the upside all throughout 2021. And we got all the way to the end of the year in 2021 with Solana prices hitting this $250 mark, an incredible increase of 19,201% since those December lows. So in the space of 11 months, Solana did a 19,000% increase in price. And why do I mention this? Well, as we said, we're going to be seeing the onset and the rollout of KASPA KRC20 smart contracts, and we've already seen that begin to roll out. If KASPA can truly solve the blockchain trilemma and see adoption with the KRC20 smart contracts over the course of the next 12 to 18 months, we might not see as parabolic an upside as we saw with Solana with a 19,000% increase, but if KASPA can emulate and grab some of the layer one market share that Solana has continued to dominate, even this year we can see Solana has been growing in terms of price since the kind of end of 2023 or end of 2022, middle of 2023 time period. We've seen some very good price action to the upside for Solana. It continues to dominate in terms of a lot of the stuff going on in layer one from a transaction and daily active addresses standpoint. But if KASPA can roll out KRC20 smart contracts and start to make decentralized applications that can compete in the world of decentralized finance, and potentially there are some other narratives that KASPA could ride. I think Solana really rode on the whole NFT narrative and the wave that we saw in 2021. If KASPA can ride on the coattails of some of the other narratives that we're seeing play out in this cycle, whether that is meme coins, whether that is real world assets, whether that is liquid staking derivatives and DeFi, there could be some very, very healthy potential upside for KASPA over the course of the next 12 to 18 months. Finally, the last chart we're going to look at here is actually KASPA versus Solana over the course of the past 12 to 15 months or so. We can see here that as Solana was making those moves to the upside here at the second half of 2023, as we moved into 2024, Solana was out competing KASPA here during that time period. We saw the value of KASPA decline versus the value of Solana until we kind of hit this point here in May of this year, and we've seen that tide kind of turn with KASPA, decently outperforming Solana over the course of the past 3 months or so. We can see the price action going here from a 0.000844 level up to about 0.01096 today. So this is KASPA priced in Solana, but you can see how Solana was kind of dominating for that time period from the end of 2023 until about May of this year. And then we saw that flip, and KASPA has been dominating Solana for the past 3 months in terms of upwards price movement. So again, it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out over the course of the next 12 to 18 months. Can KASPA really begin to capture some of this layer one market share that Solana and other layer ones are trying to get a slice of the pie in? And again, with some of the proof of work consensus mechanism coupled with the directed acyclic graph technology, if KASPA can truly be a more robust version of Bitcoin and employ smart contracts at the same time, it could be very interesting to see how much of the market share it can begin to capture. So that is the analysis. Personally, I think there is a lot of room for growth with regards to not just the price action of KASPA, but the ecosystem, and if the rollout of KRC20 smart contracts is welcomed and adopted by the community, we can see a lot of useful applications being built out on KASPA over the course of the next 12 to 15 months. And I think price action will follow as a result of all that growth and adoption. As always, if you enjoyed the content, please make sure to smash that thumbs up button below. Hit that subscribe button as well. And if you want to get notified about similar videos, don't forget to smash the bell notification icon. We're dropping videos pretty much every single day on the channel. And finally, once again, don't forget to grab your free copy of The Rise of Bitcoin. It's going to be linked in the description below. It is my gift to you. Grab it while it's free. And as always, we'll catch you in the next one.